Welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 and Thriving. Have you seen this circle play out many times? Broke, looking for a job, find a job, start getting paid, wonderful life, buy the things I need, uh-oh, lose the job, broke again, looking for a job, stop earning, enjoying the life I want, buying the things I want, something happens again, lose the job, broke again. And it just seems like we've seen this circle play out so many times with different career professionals, not just people who eating an office, a faculty, footballer, musician, your regular 9 to 5. It's a circle thing that happens a lot of time. And so that's why today we are going to be talking about financial mistakes career people make. I think that financial management can be tricky and even career savvy individuals make mistakes. Today's episode, like I said, we're going to talk about common financial mistakes or missteps that people make in their 9 to 5. And I'm going to split this one into part one and part two, just because there is a lot to talk about. Hey, please note, this is not financial advice, but just me sharing some pitfalls that I have read, observed, and experienced. So let's talk about some of these mistakes. The first one is lack of a budget. And this feels like, oh yeah, we've heard about budget before. But hey, let's talk about it. Many career professionals fail to create and stick to a budget. You know, the funny thing about the budget is your budget is really just you trying to tell your money where to go, be disciplined, and sticking to it. Now, I know a lot of people who have budget. So sometimes creating a budget is not really the big deal. Some people are so smart, they think they know exactly where the money goes, and so they do not need to create a budget. But I think that the worst type of people really are those who create the budget and then do not stick to it. You should not have put in that effort in the first place. And here's what I have found out. If you do not create a budget for your money creates a budget for you. Because the purpose of the budget really, at the end of the day, is just you telling your money where to go. The other thing is, when you do not do that, well, guess what? Your money is telling you where you should put it. So the money creates the budget for you, or you create a budget for the money. So you get to choose. But there's no mid ground here. If you do not create a budget for your fund will create a budget for you. And you end up overspending. And that's one of the mistakes that career people make. We do not create a budget. And when we create one, we do not stick to it.
Hey, before we go on to the next point, have you clicked on the subscribe button? Please click on the subscribe button, like the video, it helps with the YouTube algorithm.
The second is having a poor savings culture. So, I mean, you see different models online. You see things like 50, 30, 20. You would see things like, your wants, your needs, your pleasures, and things like that. But I just want to speak only about creating a saving culture. You know, the money that comes to your hand comes for three reasons, in my experience. One, to sort out the past, bills you've incurred, probably your light bill, or your energy bill, things like that. Things you presently are enjoying, okay, for your rent, probably school fee, tuition for the kid. Money comes for that. And the third reason is to keep for your future. I sat down and I thought about how much had passed through my hands in the last 10 years. And the truth is that money could never have been given to you. What? A lot of you, if you sit down and think about how much, just think about the last 10 years. Maybe that's too far. Think about the last 5 years. How much money has actually passed through my hand? Sum it up. You'll be shocked at the millions that have actually passed through your hands. But guess what? Those funds never come at once because that's just not the way the world works. All the funds you need for your life will come in those kind of trickles. They might come in monthly salary because we're talking to 95 people. Guess what? The expectation, you take some of that to solve some problem. that you have behind you, some bills that you have to pay. Okay. Use some of that. Well, some of the financial challenges you have now, the bills you have to pay for what you're doing now, but you must send some of them to your future. Otherwise, what you are doing is really eating your future today without knowing. Again, if you are not saving when you get the funds that come in, you are eating your future today without knowing. So I say it like that. You cannot afford not to save, because if you do not save, you are not safe. It's the baseline. It's what really begins to create the foundation for you to start talking about things like investment and things like that. Okay. So begin to save today. I'm not going to go into specifics about what percentage you should save or what percentage you shouldn't save. I think that that's really, left to the individual and left to your personal circumstance. Okay. But here's what I'll tell you. The more you earn, the more you should save. The older you get, the more you should be saving. Why? Because you are getting to the twilight of your career. And at some point, you will not have access to the amount of funds you presently have. The next mistake is living beyond your means. Oh my God, I cannot tell how many times we got this. You see people who simply bought a shirt or bought a sneakers or are doing something simply because they saw someone next door. And because you have the sense of security that you have a job, you kind of feel that you can go on vacation every month. I met someone recently who is in a 9 to 5 and actually takes a vacation every 6 weeks to another country. Okay. I don't know. The first question I asked was, how long have you been doing that? Oh, I've been doing this for the past 3.5 years. It's just my outlet. It just helps me to be able to refresh. And so every 6 weeks, we take a trip to a different country and spend some money. Now, am I saying you should not go on vacation? Absolutely not. I do go on vacation, and I think you should have a budget for that. Okay, that has to be in your budget. But the next question I asked this person was, how long have you been working? 10 years. How much do you have in your savings? Nothing. No savings. So, where's the balance to that? The way you know you are living above your means is that you actually have paid absolutely nothing. You are living from paycheck to paycheck, which is one of the biggest dangers of the 9 to 5 person. The fact that you genuinely think that his salary is coming next month, not knowing that there are several factors and several things that could happen in the universe, and that job could be gone. So, not spend or live beyond your means. Dr. Fene, how do I know what my mean is? Simple. If you lose your job today, can you maintain this standard of living for the next 6 months to 1 year? Can you be going on vacations every 6 week for the next 1 year without the job that you presently have? If those expenses are things that you say in no to when you ask yourself this question, then you are living above your means. The next one is connected to what I just said. Inadequate emergency fund. Now, not having an emergency fund can force people into debt when unexpected expenses arise or unexpected situation arises. Look, we live in a world where we cannot control a lot of things. I spoke in some episodes ago about, sticking to what you can control. You genuinely cannot control when you're going to be asked to leave your present job. You cannot control if that company is going to be folded up tomorrow. You cannot control if, a once in a lifetime type pandemic happens and then it affects that business, or if some sort of innovation comes and the company you currently work in have closed. What you can control is how you manage your finances within the period when you're on that job. The purpose of the emergency fund is to ensure that you are not thrown into immediate crisis. Now, from a financial perspective, I think that there are several layers, or rather several categories of people. The first is people who are in financial crisis, you do not know where the next meal will come from. You do not know how you're going to pay your rent for the next month or for the next year, depending on what part of the world you're in and how you pay your rent. That's crisis. And then there are the people who are in survival mode, right? You earn, you spend, earn enough to spend, earn enough to spend. That's it. That's survival mode, because the moment an earning does not happen in big week or in big month, you are in crisis. Well, guess the funny mode I think a lot of 95 people are. It's called stability. Stability simply meaning you have a good job, you could pay, you could go on a vacation, probably have a car, probably on a mortgage, you have a house. So generally you think that you are stable. But here's the deception. If you lose that job in 1 month, you probably are down in financial crisis. And this is why you need the emergency fund. The emergency fund is saying, have I saved up 6 months to 1 year of my living expense such that my quality of life and the expenses that I have, I can conveniently pay them and maintain them and get myself back to work within 1 year. So that's one mistake a lot of career people make. They do not have emergency fund. The next one I have found out is high interest debts. Hey, look, guys, can we talk about consumer debt for career people? Taking high interest debt to be able to get a car that you genuinely cannot afford, and if the job goes away, you get stranded with that car. Consumer debt, I have seen how they can kind of control the finances of very, very close people to me. Relying on credit cards with very high interest rates without paying the balance in full can accumulate costly debt for you. So I always say, if you want to use your credit card, great, use your credit card. Can you pay down on exactly what it is you're spending so you do not have this huge debt and huge interest rate hanging over your life? The next one I'm going to talk about is spending to impress. I cannot tell you how many shoes I bought several years ago simply because my friend bought the shoe and I liked the shoe. I cannot tell you how many friends of mine bought shirts, moved into certain areas, decided to pay rent in certain areas simply because they were trying to impress and show to their colleagues. Sometimes even to your clients, depending on the kind of job that you do, that you are in a particular financial status. Look, I read a book somewhere that said, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you genuinely think that everyone watching and that people care and that people are trying to know what you do and see what you do. When you get to your 40s and your 50s, you now don't care, right? You're like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. When you get to your 50s and 70s, you now find out that nobody was ever really paying attention to you. So hey, do not spend hard to impress people that do not really care about you. The final one for this episode is making poor investment choices. Several years ago, I was working, doing my 9 to 5, earning good. I had paid, I had investment funds, I had all these effects. Where I started failing was I made poor investment choices. Why? Again, probably peer pressure. I found that a few of my colleagues were investing in this particular agriculture business and they're making huge returns. I'm talking 28%, 24%, 25%. To my mind, that was medium risk. Because again, what did I know about financial literacy at the path? I knew people who were trying to do things to get 100% return on investment, and I just thought that that was outrageous. This particular one about outrageous investment, I felt that this was something I could do. I did it the first time, the second time, third time. Oh my God, I got my return. You know what I did? I went, took all my emergency fund, threw it in a form few family members to do exactly the same thing. And that was it. That was the last time we ever got returns on that investment. Capital gone, interest gone. The company folded up during the pandemic because their supply chain were affected. What were we gonna do? And so I learned the very hard way.
that if you make poor investment choices and if you do not work with proper financial advice, your life savings could go in the blink of an eye. So make sure that you get proper investment advice from qualified financial advisors. Do not invest in what you do not understand. For me, that's always my rule of thumb for investment now. If I do not understand it, I do not invest in it. And ensure that you are properly mentored by someone you know who have walked the path. And that's it for today, guys. Managing your finances requires discipline. That's why I spoke about budgeting, requires planning, and I think it requires professional guidance. I would always say make sure you get professional guidance. In part 2, we're going to talk about a few other pitfalls that career people fall into when it comes to navigating their finances.